This map shows the immense scale of the Kursk salient in the summer of 1943. Along this front, the two sides massed over 2.8 million troops, 69,000 artillery pieces, and thousands of tanks. The German offensive relied on established workhorses, like the Panzer IV and the turretless Stu-G3 assault gun. They also deployed the Tiger I, a heavy tank with thick armor and long-range firepower that already imposed a massive psychological burden on Allied crews. But Germany faced an overwhelming threat in the Soviet T-34. Produced in numbers that the German army could not match using its current inventory. Despite assembling this massive invasion force, the German High Command believed they needed a radical technological advantage to pierce the deep Soviet defenses. The Panther was intended to provide that advantage. 200 of these brand new tanks arrived just in time to spearhead the offensive. This diagram illustrates the Panther's theoretical superiority. By sloping the frontal armor at extreme angles, engineers increased its effective thickness against Soviet guns, while mounting a high-velocity 7.5-centimeter cannon. 48 hours into the July 5th offensive, this anticipated armored spearhead had almost completely disappeared from the battlefield. Of the 200 Panthers that began the attack, only 40 remained operational by the second evening. Engineering flaws, rather than Soviet anti-tank fire, neutralized Germany's most advanced weapon system from the moment it entered combat. The breakdowns began in the engine compartment. Seals designed for an unused deep weighting capability caused the engines to overheat, melting fuel lines and igniting fires inside the hull. A more systemic problem lay in the final drive, the gear assembly transferring power to the tracks. The Panther's straight-cut gears lacked proper case hardening. Under combat stress, the soft steel teeth cracked and shattered, jamming the drivetrain. When these gears failed, they converted 45 tons of state-of-the-art weaponry into a mobile steel scrap before the crew ever spotted an enemy target. These failures were rooted in the rushed development cycle of 1942. After encountering the T-34, German industry scrambled to produce a modern medium tank under intense pressure. Daimler-Benz proposed a design that closely imitated the T-34's rear-drive layout, but the military chose the ANN prototype, which adhered to the traditional German front-drive configuration. Development was further complicated by direct orders from Adolf Hitler. He demanded bigger armor and a more powerful gun than the original design specifications required. This chart shows the result of those mandates. The Panther's combat weight ballooned from 35 tons to 45 tons. That extra 10 tons of steel overstressed a drivetrain geometry that was never redesigned to handle the load. Operating such a fragile machine required extreme care. Drivers had to manage the steering clutches with surgical precision to avoid a total mechanical collapse. However, the crews at Kursk were often inexperienced, having received only a few weeks of training on tanks that were still arriving from the factories as the offensive began. The interaction of rushed prototyping, erratic weight increases, and inadequate training left crews managing a machine with no margin for error. The Panther's post-Kursk record created a distinct paradox for the German army. In static defensive positions, the tank was nearly invincible. Its frontal armor could shrug off most Allied shells, while its own gun destroyed targets at ranges exceeding 2 kilometers. Yet this performance was offset by tactical paralysis. General Heinz Guderian and other commanders grew hesitant to order the long marches and bold maneuvers that German doctrine required. Crews feared mechanical failure more than enemy fire. The risk of a breakdown stranding a tank deep in enemy territory forced a level of caution that countered the aggressive mobility of the Panzer divisions.
mobility of the Panzer
Because
divisions.
Blitzkrieg depends on sustained rapid movement, a tactically lethal tank that cannot reliably travel becomes a strategic liability. This outcome highlights the difference between German and Allied engineering priorities. Tanks like the American Sherman were designed with a focus on mass production and mechanical endurance. Allied planners prioritized operational availability and ease of repair, understanding that a reliable tank in the field was worth more than a superior one in a maintenance depot.
Allied tactics eventually evolved to exploit the Panther's fragility, forcing the tanks to maneuver sharply in difficult terrain where their final drives were most likely to fail. The mechanical attrition seen at Kursk permanently depleted Germany's armored reserves and effectively ended their capacity for major offensives in the East. By prioritizing impressive technical specifications over mechanical reliability, German industry produced a tactical masterpiece that ensured its own strategic defeat.